Which team is your most overrated team and most underrated team that surprised you this Afcon?
Most overrated team, it has to be Ghana. Like, it has to be Ghana. I mean, those guys are too loud on social media, and their teams are playing like trash. How many games did they even win? Sef? I can't even remember, but I know they crashed out of the tournament prematurely. So it has to be Ghana.
What about your underrated?
Underrated. There are lots of surprises in this Afcon, but did go with should I say no, Angola. I think this is their first time. Reaching this stage in the Afcon, and they surprised a lot and a whole lot of people. I mean, they finished well in their group stages, and they are doing magnificently well in the knockout stages. So I would choose Angola as my underrated team.
Yeah, I overrated Egypt, and the country I underrated was Angola and Guinea of yesterday that played the match. Why I overrated Egypt was because of their players. They really played well in the last Afcon, and all of a sudden this coming Afcon they had numerous errors in their match, and one of their key players went to injury. That's Mo Salah, that have to go back to his team in England. So the team was like kind of low and did not perform well. And of course, why I said I underrated Guinea and the surprised the whole African countries was because of their squad. There are some players that are playing in the third division, not even the second, or playing in the higher leagues in the world. But they came yesterday, they performed very well against Equatorial Guinea, and they had qualifications to the quarterfinals. Yeah, that's why I said they were underrated, but later on they surprised the world.
Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea. Like you're underrated.
Yes.
So what about your overrated?
Sorry, my overrated. You said underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nigeria.
Underrated Nigeria. Why?
We were like, we know ourselves now, thinking we'll not try, but then we did our best.
Yeah. So what about your overrated?
Equatorial Guinea.
Why do you think
I was thinking they would play, but they did rubbish. According to me, they're just doing rubbish.
Well, my underrated team, I would say, is Cape Verde, because looking at the game that they played in the group stage, they played very well. I think without losing any game, so they made it in their group. And the most overrated team in this Afcon, I'll actually pick two teams, which is Algeria first and Egypt. So people expectation was high on these both teams, like the kind of calibers of player they have, their teams, looking at their past history and their ranking also. So like those two teams, they did not give that expectation to the teams and to the fans around the world. Like people were expecting more from the both sides, but Algeria couldn't make it out of the group stage, and Egypt were knocked out by Congo. So that's very 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 poor from Egypt and Algeria.
I think the most overrated one should be Egypt. Egypt is the most overrated, because I couldn't even believe that Egypt is already out. So, and the way people were hyping and giving them all these praises and all, I thought maybe they would make it to the final stage. So the most underrated, I think, should be Nigeria, because obviously people thought Nigeria could not actually make it to the quarterfinal, and here we are today. You know, based on the fact that previously in the previous tournaments that's held that we've been part of, like, people see how Nigeria performed very awfully. So this time around, they still expect nothing but the same kind of disappointment. But it turned around that everything is changing, and I believe that the most underrated might now become the next rated.
Overrated.
My underrated country is Angola, and the most overrated country is Egypt.
Why?
Because I'm surprised that Angola are doing what other countries are not doing.
Okay.
They have been winning matches, and look at their last match against Namibia. They won 3-1. So about Egypt now, but now Egypt are just misbehaving, drawing matches anyhow, and their match of yesterday, they like drew the match and went on penalties and then lost the penalties. Now they are out of the Afcon competition.
Okay.
Underrated, it should be DR Congo due to their performance yesterday, but they really did well. They pull out the what's the name of this country, Egypt. So I think the rated should be most rated Morocco. Their performance in World Cup. I think they are still number 1 in Africa.
Okay.
I think so.
So which country is your most overrated and underrated country in this year's Afcon?
Okay, so my most overrated country is Cameroon, and then they are out. And then my underrated country, I think, is Egypt.
Okay.
Yes, and they are still
They're out.
they are out, but
Yeah.
yeah, they are out.
So your overrated is Egypt.
Yeah,
Underrated is Cameroon.
yeah.
And the both team are out.
They would team out.
So you are disappointed.
No, I'm on. When it comes to the Cameroon, I'm not disappointed because I've underrated them since.
Okay.
But then I'm disappointed when it comes to Egypt because I thought maybe they'll reach the quarterfinal or semi-final or something like that.
I would say my overrated country in this AFCON was Senegal and Morocco, while the most underrated one was the Democratic Republic of Congo. Though they beat us, they beat our expectations. They beat Egypt yesterday in the penalties, 8-7.
So which country do you think might progress to the semi-final and maybe win the cup?
Yeah, I think Nigeria with the performance we are showing now, but in the group stage we were lacking in performance. Yeah, but with the performance we are playing now, I think we might emerge as the winners.
My overrated country is Nigeria. Did they overrate them? All of them. They don't have anything. We try when we played. What do you call this?
Nigeria don't have anything, but they did like quarterfinal now.
We tried. As in, it's not that the expectation. What we are expecting from Nigeria to play is not what we are getting. So we have high hopes on them, but I don't think we get those hopes.
Your underrated country?
My underrated country, I think it should be. I don't know, maybe Guinea.
Okay, Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah, Equatorial Guinea.
So why?
Because I don't want their match, but my status, WhatsApp, everywhere that I see what people are captioning about them, I think they might do something in AFCON.